Success what can't be measured by the number of years he lived or the high posts he held or by the massive amounts of money he accumulated. The yardstick is how much that person's work has contributed to changing the society for the better and whether there is something in his work that can be emulated by future generations. Sundarayya dedicated his entire life for the cause of the people, society, and communist movement. Many aspects of his life are worth emulating even today. I wish to bring to your attention some of those aspects. Sundarayya's life struggle began in 1930 when he took on the entrenched feudal practices prevalent in his village. He organized all caste interdining in his village. He fought for the rights of Dalits to draw water from the common well and facilitated intercaste marriages. He removed a part of his name which denoted the caste to which his family belonged. One can't be a communist if one does not fight against caste oppression, communalism, and patriarchy. That's why the kind of spirited, committed struggle Sundarayya put up against caste oppression is the need of the hour. Sundarayya was in the forefront of the struggles during the freedom movement and the communist movement. Foremost is the heroic Telangana peasant arms struggle in which 10,000 village militia members and 2,000 regular guerrillas fought against Nizam Rajakars at first and against 50,000 army of Union government later. Over 4,000 fighters were martyred and 10,000 activists were sent to jails and 50,000 were detained in police camp. All these extraordinary sacrifices did not go in vain. It resulted in dethroning the feudal Nizam government and merger of Hyderabad state into Indian Union. Around 10 lakh acres of land were distributed to the peasantry. Forced labor and the system of Bedakal were abolished. Sundarayya was the secretary of Telangana Communist Committee, led the armed struggle for 4 years amidst the cruel repression and murders unleashed by Rajakars and the Union Army. That's why Sundarayya is loved and respected by every household in rural Telangana. The experience and the lessons of this great people's struggle was summarized in Sundarayya's book, The Telangana People's Struggle and Its Lessons. Another important movement was the 1937 historic peasant long march in coastal Andhra under Sundarayya's guidance. Hundreds of cadre conducted the 10-month-long Padayatra from Ichapuram to Madras, covering a distance of 3,000 kilometers and 525 villages. They addressed 5 lakh people in over 500 public meetings. This program greatly helped in strengthening the peasant movement in Andhra area. When the taluk of When we talk of Sundarayya, we mainly remember him as a leader of struggles, but he was a great parliamentarian. He was elected to Rajya Sabha in 1952. He acted as a leader of opposition for 3 years, up to 1955. He was also a member of Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly for 17 years. Sundarayya was a unique parliamentarian. He was always a great parliamentarian, and he came to parliament by his cycle. Files tied to the cycle carriage. When he was a member of state legislature, he got only When we talk of Sundarayya, we mainly remember him as a leader of struggles, but he was also a great parliamentarian. He was elected to Rajya Sabha in 1952. He acted as an opposition leader for 3 years, up to 1955. He was also a member of Andhra Pradesh Assembly for 17 years. Sundarayya was a unique parliamentarian. He always came to the parliament on his cycle, with files tied to his carriage. When he was a member of the state legislature, he was not only used to go to assembly by cycle, but he used to go to the chief minister's house too on a cycle to get his work done. With his 20 years of personal experience in Parliament and Assembly, he clearly understood the role and limitations of parliamentary activities in the Indian revolutionary movement. With these limitations, he stood as a role model of how a left parliamentarian should be. Sundarayya believed that social service activities are as important as people's struggles in advancing the revolutionary movement. As a young boy, Sundarayya trained himself in first aid methods to provide basic health care in his village. He also learned midwifery and assisted child deliveries in his village. He encouraged his brother, Dr. Ramchandra Reddy, to set up People's Hospital in 1953 and continued to guide it until his death. Today, the hospital is being run as a model People's Hospital. Over 2.5 lakh persons avail outpatient services in a year. More than 250 doctors who were trained in this hospital over the years have started polyclinics in various parts of the state. Today, they are bringing affordable healthcare to the people and are helping the people's movements in various ways. In 1971, when the prices of essential food grains sharply increased, apart from agitating for control of rising prices, Communist Party ran shops in which rice was sold at 1 rupee per kg. Activists brought paddy from farmers. After processing in rice mills, sold it to the poor. They proved that it is indeed possible to sell rice at 1 rupee per kg even after all expenses are taken into account. This program brought tremendous pressure on the state government to take measures against black marketers. Sundarayya was always in the forefront in organizing relief activities during natural calamities. In 1977, more than 10,000 people died in a devastating cyclone in the Divisima of Krishna district. Nearly 100 villages were completely wiped out. Human and cattle corpses were lying scattered over the place. The Communist Party volunteers were present in the ground day and night for 30 days, providing medical aid to the survivors, removing dead bodies, collecting relief material, and providing assistance to the affected people. Sundarayya personally participated and supervised the relief effort. I can't recount many more such activities further, but the point to be noted is that Sundarayya felt that these were not just service-oriented activity, they were also a means to rouse the consciousness of the masses against the policies of ruling classes and exploitative conditions. We can learn a lot from Sundarayya on how to keep our links with people when communists were politically isolated. During the 1942 Quit India movement, Communist Party was politically isolated in Andhra area. Those days, it became difficult even to hold public meetings. In such a situation, the special effort put by the communists under Sundarayya's leadership was successful in defeating the ruling class attempts to alienate the people from communists. Notable in this effort was the removal of silt from Bandaru irrigation canal that had affected nearly 6 lakh acres of arable land. For 20 days in May 1944, around 4,000 volunteers successfully completed desiltation. Sundarayya and many of his colleagues physically participated in this program. The photograph of Sundarayya supervising the work, leaning on his cycle at the canal site remains a symbol of that great effort even today. When faced with unfavorable circumstances, Sundarayya was always in the forefront, safeguarding the party and people's movements with courage, determination, and confidence, even at a time when many others succumbed to confusion and loss of confidence. I will mention a particular occasion. Following the severe repression unleashed by the Indian Union Army to crush the Telangana armed struggle, some people developed cold feet, left the movement. But Sundarayya played a great role by remaining with the armed squads and gradually withdrawing the struggle. He took great care to see that the party and the cadre were safeguarded during this process. After withdrawal of the armed struggle, Sundarayya, who was underground himself, went to console the family of the martyrs. The kind of effort he put in for a decade after withdrawal of armed struggle to get the cases against underground cadre removed, to get those in jails released, or to help the martyrs' families is, in one word, amazing. Sundarayya was an exceptional organizer. At an young age of 20 years, he toured the entire Andhra region and formed many communist branches and groups. In 1935, when he was only 22, he prepared the ground for communist movement in Kerala by touring around the state and holding discussions with important leaders of the freedom movement. He was a pioneer in organizing the first agricultural labor union in 1932 in his village. Sundarayya played an important role in the formation of All India Kisan Sabha in 1936. He was a founder member and assistant secretary of AIKS. Sundarayya never believed that any movement can go forward because of individuals, no matter how talented they were. He said that the party as a whole must act as organizer par excellence. If committees themselves act as effective organizers, then the weakness of individuals can be overcome and the movement can be forged ahead. Sundarayya gave a lot of importance to imparting political education to those who participated in the struggles and movements. At the beginning of the communist movement in Andhra area, Sundarayya organized a 1-month-long political school under the aegis of Congress Socialist Party in Kottapatnam in 1937. The next year, another 1-month school was organized in Mantenevaripalem. Students of those two schools later on became famous as Communist Party leaders and cadres. His emphasis on political training through schools continued up to his death. Sundarayya emphasized the use of concrete study as a tool for advancing the people's movements. He thoroughly studied land relations in 1936 and prepared a report to help the Kisan movement. He authored a book on land question in 1977 after conducting an intensive survey in the villages of Kaza and Anantavaram in Guntur district of Andhra Pradesh. He wrote a book, Comprehensive Water Resource Plan for Andhra Pradesh in 1981, outlining concrete suggestions on proper and equitable utilization of water resources in the AP to fight the divisive controversies created by the ruling parties. His 1944 book, People's Rule in Vishalandhra, detailing plans for the all-round development of the Telugu people in a united state, had greatly enthused the movement for a united linguistic state in those days. Sundarayya spent his every second, his every paisa, all his energies for the sake of people and people's movement. As a young man, he dressed in khaki shorts, coarse khadar shirt, and later on khadar shirt and loose paisana. They remained his clothes lifelong. He always wished to remain very simple. He always washed his clothes himself. He traveled on foot and by bicycle. He used to travel a distance of 100 kilometers at a stretch from Madras to his village on bicycle. He used to undertake long distance journeys by train, and that too only by third class. One whole doll for wrapping all his things he needed and carrying it himself. No preferences for eating. He ate whatever was available. Gruel or rice with just chilies or rice with just water and salt. He ate whatever was given to him without wasting a grain. Washing the plate himself was his habit. These were normal activities, a routine for him. For taking rest, it didn't matter if it was a hard floor or an elevated surface or a charpai. Whatever facilities the people had for taking rest, he considered them to be his too. He used to carry his things by himself. He always refused to take help from others for carrying his luggage. He detested elaborate receptions at stations. He used to object to such habits, asking why such things were organized, wasting the time of cadres and energy of activists. The importance of the values practiced by Sundarayya and his lifestyle is much more important today at a time when the neoliberal ideology is on the offensive, with the rise of consumerism and individualism. Pompousness, extravagance have become benchmarks of greatness and prestige. Corruption, cheating, and demagoguery have become symbols of brilliance and dynamism. Repression, exploitation, and loot of public wealth have become acceptable avenues of amassing wealth. Today, cooperation, solidarity, benevolence, tolerance, and caring are being perceived as traits of incompetence. Today, man and nature are also seen as tools for making profit. It is becoming increasingly clear how such values and thoughts are pushing the society, the future of humankind, and the stability of nature to the brink of disaster. How they are spreading a feeling of disappointment and helplessness among people is evident. Unable to understand the roots of this dire situation, people are falling prey to the influences of fundamentalist, sectarian, and divisive forces. Not possible to strengthen the progressive forces without weakening the hegemony of these reactionary values on the people. Communists will not be able to inspire anyone if they compromise and adjust with neoliberal values and lifestyles in the name of objective conditions, or citing the reverses to socialist project, or in the name of socialism not achievable in the immediate future. Sundarayya's life unveils before us a path of uncompromising struggle against feudal and bourgeoisie values and in favor of socialist values. If one imagines how a socialist human being would be, I can easily say he or she would be like Sundarayya. His life shows how a socialist human being can organically grow even in the womb of a capitalist society. But if only some individuals live lives are like this, it would be insufficient. Progressive movement itself must grow, embodying the values of socialism within the womb of capitalism. Why only then can we unveil the vision of a new society before the youth and people? Only then can we enthuse and inspire future generations.